Start by laying the back panels with the right sides facing. Pin the middle seam. Stitch 1 cm apart from the edge. While we are here, let's neaten the seam. If you don't have a serger, feel free to use sewing machine's zigzag stitch. My serger slightly gathered the seam, that's why I press it flat first. Then I press the seam towards one side, it doesn't matter to which one. Take the back panel and find the notches at the side seams. Lay the pocket bags with the right sides facing. Match the notches and pin. Stitch the pocket bags to the dress panels 1 cm apart from the edge. Repeat this step with the front panel as well. Stitch all 4 pocket bags to the dress panels. Neaten this area next to the sewing machine stitch. Take only the front panel and understitch the seam to the pocket bag. Make sure that the seam allowance is laying towards the pocket bag and make a stitch 2 mm apart from the previously made seam. This step ensures that the front pocket bags won't be visible outside of the dress and they lay towards front. So do this step only for both front pocket bags. When pressing the back panel, simply press the seam towards the pocket bag. When pressing the front panel, press the pocket bag towards inside of the dress. Fold the pocket bag in a way that you can see a tiny peek of the dress panel. Lay the front panel on the back panel with the right sides facing each other. Pin the side seams and pin around the pocket bags. Make sure that the front and back panel pocket notches are matching. Even if your pocket bags aren't aligning perfectly, the priority is to make sure the side seam and notches are matching. I forgot to mention that it's also important to make sure that the pocket bags are laying flat. You will need to stitch 3 separate times. First, you will need to stitch along the side seam around the pocket bags down to the hem. Then you will need to make a stitch from the top of the pocket bag down to the notch. And the third one will be from the lowest notch down to the lowest part of the pocket bag. There are a few ways how you can pattern draft inseam pockets, and accordingly there are several ways how you can stitch them. This time I chose to make larger pocket bags so I could actually carry stuff in them. The pocket bags are quite big, but we need to reduce the opening size so our things wouldn't fall out. This is the place where you need to make the second stitch. Start from the previously made seam right before you turn around the corner and then stitch down towards the notch. Neaten the raw edges. Press everything flat and then press the seam towards the front panel. Lay front and back facing with the right sides facing each other. Pin the side seams. Make a stitch 1 cm apart from the edge. Neaten these seams. Press these seams towards the back panel. Neaten the lower edge of the facing. If you want to have a really sophisticated result, fold the neatened part, which usually is about 5 to 7 mm wide, and then make a stitch along this folded edge. This way the neatened edge won't be visible from the inside of the dress. But I will skip it because usually this folded edge gives extra thickness and there's more risk that it will be shining through the dress. I'm using a needle with a big eye to hide the serger's thread inside the serger's stitch. If you simply cut this stitch, then with time the serger's threads will become undone, especially after washing in a washing machine. Lay the facings right side with the dress right side. Match the keyhole's opening and pin around it. Stitch 5 mm apart from the edge. By the way, I highly recommend to take out the pins before you stitch, otherwise you are risking to break your sewing machine's needle, and even worse, the pins might be flying around and it's quite dangerous. Make a few cuts in the seam allowance to release the fabric. Make these cuts around 3 to 4 mm deep in the seam allowance, but be careful not to cut in the stitch. Flip the facing from the inside out and press around this keyhole opening. If you feel that it's still not pressing flat, make a few more cuts in the seam allowance. Now lay the facing again in a way that the right side is facing the dress panel's right side. Match the side seams. Pin around the armholes. Stitch 1 cm apart from the edge. Of course, do the step for both armholes. Flip the facing upwards and let's understitch both armholes. Make sure that the seam allowance is laying towards the facing and make a stitch on the facing side 2 mm apart from the previously made seam. This will ensure that the facing stays inside of the dress and you don't see any of the facing from the right side of the dress. Plus, it's more convenient to press the armholes even after washing, like this step helps a lot. Here as well, let's make a few cuts in the seam allowance so we could properly press it flat. Then flip the facing towards inside of the dress and press around the armholes. Press them in a way that you can see a tiny bit of the dress panel when you are looking from the inside of the dress. Let's secure the facing to the dress. Match the side seams and lay the facing flat. Pin somewhere near the facing's lower edge. Make a stitch that connects facing's lower edge and the dress side seam. This stitch shouldn't be visible on the right side of the dress. We're doing this so the facing would be fixed in place and wouldn't come outside of the dress and so on. Make a few back and forth stitches. Lay the ruffle panels with the right sides facing each other. Pin the side seams and stitch 1 cm apart from the edge. Neaten both of these side seams. Press these seams to one side. It's time for gathering. We need to gather the upper edge of the ruffle and also the upper edge of front and back necklines. Set your sewing machine stitch to number 4 or even higher if your sewing machine can do it. Leave long tails of threads and do not backstitch. Make 2 stitches. The first stitch should be around 5 mm apart from the edge and the second stitch should be around 7 mm apart from the edge. Pull the threads along the neckline so the gathering length is matching the length between the notches. Pull the threads only from one side of the dress. Do the same thing with the back neckline. Take the neckband and fold one side of the edge that is in between the notches. Fold 1 cm and press. Fold the neckband lengthwise with the right sides facing. Stitch the tails of the neckband and also between the second and third notch and between the third and fourth notch. Stitch 1 cm apart from the edge. Let's trim off the seam allowance at the corners to reduce bulkiness. Leave around 2 mm of the fabric at these corners. Be careful not to cut in the stitch. I'm going to use my marker to flip the neckband from the inside out. I like to use a pin to pull the seam towards the edge of the neckband, but be careful not to damage the fabric. Pull the seam as close to the edge as possible and press. Lay the neckband's right side on the dress right side. Pin the opening to the dress and stitch 1 cm apart from the edge. Adjust the gathering if necessary. Do the step with the back panels as well. In case if any of the gathering stitches are visible, then use pliers to pull them out. You can use a stitch in a ditch method, but this time I will use an invisible hand stitch to stitch the inside of the neckband to the dress. This is a bit slower way, but it's more sophisticated and I think it is also more beginner friendly. Now gather the ruffle so much that the upper edge of the ruffle is matching the length of the dress lower edge. Lay the ruffle's right side on the dress right side. Match the middle points and side seams. Pin around. Stitch 1 centimeter apart from the edge, neaten this edge. Do a quick try-on to check whether you like the length of this dress, and I suggest for you to try it with shoes. I do plan to wear it with flats or even barefoot, that's why I'm trying it like that. Remember that there's still hem allowance, so it will be like 2 centimeters shorter. There are several ways how you can hem it. I will neaten the hem and then fold it once and edge stitch. This is the most easy way how to hem. You could also do a baby hem or a simple double folded hem. These two methods are a bit more time consuming. Give the final press and you have finished. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please leave us a like. Don't forget to check out the fabrics from the House of Textiles and subscribe to our channels for more sewing tutorials. See you next time. Bye!